might send a game like a free throw. I love when she talking the lingo. Wanna fuck on the freako. She says she bringing the Tito's. We hacking the game like a Chico. I'm a monster, it's time for the beast mode. Cracking your skulls on Debo. Straight to the strip, all singles. They peeping straight through the peephole. You a lame, you a dork, a bimbo.
Oh, yes, sir. Oh, yes, sir. It's your boy Twan. We back with another episode of the OffTopic podcast. This is episode 19. For today's episode, I just want to talk about the Boston Celtics. So first off, congratulations to the Boston Celtics for winning the NBA championships, for winning the finals. Congrats. You guys were definitely deserving for that win. With Boston winning this NBA championship, this allowed Boston to have 18 championships. So that's the most total in the NBA history. They have more than Los Angeles Lakers with 17. They were just tied with Lakers with 17 apiece, but now Boston has won, so now they have the most with 18. So congrats to them. So for this episode, I just wanted to just give you guys just my takeaways, give some shout outs, and then really just some updates moving forward with my podcast, going into the next season and everything. But to start things off, am I surprised of this Boston Celtics finals win? I guess I have a two-part answer to this question. First off, I am not surprised by the results. Boston was the best team in the regular season with 64 wins, 18 losses. They were clearly the best team in the playoff series. I know they may not have a lot of highlights like a lot of teams did in the West and everything. Every playoffs is going to be controversial when it comes to injuries and everything like that. But if we look at stats, Boston Celtics were 16 wins and 3 losses in this playoff series. So am I surprised that they won the NBA Finals? No, I'm not surprised at all. They were the runner-ups. I mean, not even runner-ups. They were the team to win the NBA Finals this season. So, according to just even myself from months ago saying that, Boston was going to the Finals from the East, they clearly did so, and for them to win is nothing that I was, surprised at all. On a side note, I did say that I thought that any team out of the West was going to, make some noise in the finals, just because I thought the West was just so much more deep, a lot more competitive. So I just thought maybe that any team that did get out of the West was going to make it difficult for Boston, but Boston clearly showed that they were solid through and through, and they have everything together, in the Boston nation. So, and I think that another reason why I'm not surprised, I'm a big Warriors boy, so you guys know I love Steph, but like when I think back to the 2022 finals, this is a different Boston team that we've seen in years past. This Boston team that I see now, a lot more confident, a lot more, it seems that every position out of the organization, everything, it just seems like everybody knew their system and what they were supposed to do on their job. And I think Boston Celtics, man, just like Denver, the depth with Boston, they just have so many pieces, so many different looks, so many different things that they can do on the floor that most teams are struggling at doing right now. So, to also include Jason Tatum hasn't really missed the playoffs, I don't think. So, I think Boston and this era of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they were about due to have a championship in due time. There's been other seasons but prior to this, them being in the finals, even in just Eastern Conference finals and playoff battles these last few years where Boston was always argued to be one of the best teams out of the East every season since Jason Tatum been there. So I'm not surprised. This is where what we expected from Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics to be reaching, and they finally have gotten there. It took a couple of seasons, but they finally have gotten there. So I'm not surprised at the results, and this is what it looks like to be, a part of a team that wants it, and they want it bad. So now I just wanted to move forward in regards to just my biggest takeaway. Pretty much this season, like I already said, Boston is a complete team. I feel like Dallas were lacking in some areas when it comes to, filling the roster. I still think Dallas can fill the roster going into this next season to better complete their team. My main point with this finals series with Dallas and Boston was that championships are won through the whole system. So that includes coaching. So when I think of coaching, Joe Mazzulla, I mean, very composed dude. Not to say that Jason Kidd wasn't either, but it just seems like, they have a culture in Boston and he fits that mode. And whatever he tells his guys, a group of guys, it reaches them. And, he may have a different take on how he approaches the game, but, we can't deny the fact that whatever he does say gets through to his team and they are there to accomplish what they needed to do. When we talk about championships being run through the whole system, we're even not including just the superstars. Obviously, we need Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and everybody to do what they're supposed to do. But when we talk about the role players, man, when we compare the two from Dallas and Boston, the role players of Boston look 10 times better than what Dallas was showing for. And, there's a lack of, us trying to get P.J. Washington involved. There was a lack of just really the role players not really getting their groove or their rhythm. It was, up until literally the finals, it just seems like we weren't hearing enough about Derrick Jones, weren't hearing enough about Daniel Gafford. I know Derek Lively was doing what he was supposed to do, but it was like we weren't hearing enough of these things. And I think that it takes a whole unit, to get to the championship. And I know that Dallas had fought pretty much all the way through the Western Conference. So there was a tough battle that they had to go through to get to the finals. But, that's what the finals is about, is to put up your best effort. I know there was a lack of really Kyrie, really being there for Dallas. He struggled really the whole series, to be honest. And that's just not what you need from superstars like that, especially when you're in the finals. This is what, as a role player, if I'm a role player, I'm going to make sure I do my job, but I also need my superstars to do what he's supposed to do too. And it just seems like there was just a lot of things that Boston were just better at. And it came down to coaching, came down to the superstars, and it literally came down to role players. So that's really the biggest takeaway of this whole series. Boston was just a better team. Now, really, just my shout-outs from this finals. First off, shout-out to Jaylen Brown. He got finals MVP over Jason Tatum. I know this was a big argument, for people feeling that Jaylen Brown should be the next man up when it comes to, taking the ranks of Boston Celtics. But I'm sure Boston feels that Jason Tatum is going to always be that guy. It was really nice to see Jaylen Brown to play at a level that he's playing now. This is what they're going to be expecting moving forward. So when we talk about these 30-plus of Jason Tatum, we need to be talking about 30-plus of Jaylen Brown as well, too. So I think Jaylen Brown has now solidified himself as a regular all-star. He has, solidified himself as a great player now in the NBA. And I think that his talent has always been there, but now, to not only have the ring, but the Finals MVP, put a big stamp and, put a big look on his resume now moving forward in his career. And I think it was well-deserved because I think Jaylen Brown had an amazing playoff run. And it was well-deserved for sure. It was well-deserved for sure. I also want to just give a big shout-out to my boy Pritchard for Boston Celtics, man. When we talk about X factors, when we talk about role players, when we talk about players that don't get the minutes that, that everybody probably wants to have in the NBA, but when you talk about somebody that's going to give you maybe less than 12 minutes in a game but have a very impactful 12 minutes, that's Payson Pritchard, man. In 2 games, he hit halftime buzzer beaters to close the half. Moments like that, change the momentum in games. And as we can see in this last game that we've seen in Game 5, that shot that went up at halftime, me watching that right there was the mark. That was like really the coffin right there at halftime. That was it. After we seen him come in, sub in, hit that shot, there's nothing more you can say about that. So, when you have players like that are always ready to step up, man, you can never fail. You can never fail. And lastly, just for shout outs, man, shout out to Derek White. Man, I've gained another level of respect for Derek White. I've never seen somebody shoot the ball like Derek White. I've never seen somebody be so tough like him. I mean, as you guys can see during the game, Derek Lively fell on top of him. He chipped his tooth. Did not even want to get checked out for it. There was blood and everything, but continued to fight through. They won the championship. Derek White, man, you can't take that away. I think he was a big piece as to why Boston are where they're at now. I think moving forward, man, Boston as a whole, they need to look at themselves as a dynasty team. They have what it takes to be the best. And, this was still a final series win without, Kristaps Porzingis really being not really, being fully involved. He was definitely had big breaks. Game one, he went crazy. He came back a few games after, he had to sit out. But it was still the fact that we didn't even still see a fully healthy Boston team in the finals. So I just think that, like I said, the players outside of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, phenomenal. They did great. I think they're really the biggest reasons why that they won, especially the fact that there was a few games that Jason Tatum did not shoot the best, but with those poor performances of just his field goal, the others, like they say, the extras, man, they did they were supposed to do. And I just want to give credit to where credit needs to be due, and that's to those role players that stepped up when in these big moments in the NBA Finals when the lights are brighter. They definitely came and hooped. Now, really, just moving forward with the NBA season, I know the actual NBA season just came to a close, but that's not really the end of anything, really. The NBA season, when it comes to the offseason, is a year-long process. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the offseason is going to bring. I know I'm about to be getting ready to prepare to take a break from my podcast. So I'm nearing really the end of my season 2 of this podcast for this season. But I'm looking forward to seeing what the NBA offseason has to offer. I know starting into the next season of my podcast, we're going to go break down all the offseason trades and rumors and everything that's going to be going crazy this summer. So I'm definitely excited to see what's going to happen and, who's going to end up where. Because I know, this was a great season for, to see an East Conference start to get competitive again. So like I said, there was controversy in the Eastern Conference side of things just because there's a lot of injuries. So we're about to see teams get back to being fully healthy again. That's including Milwaukee, Sixers, Knicks. There's a lot of teams out there, Pacers, a lot of teams out there that's really going to make some noise outside of Boston, especially Miami, And then on top of that as well, we have the West. And we got some big names in the free agency block that I think is going to really change the dynamics of what these teams are going to look like going into the next season. So. And then I've already touched on a little bit, my goals, going into the next season. I just want to be able to, next season of my podcast, I just want to be able to rebrand some things. I want to start promoting my podcast where you guys will be able to tune in live while I'm doing the process of doing my episodes and really just taking it to another level. So I have some big plans for season 3. So, in a few months, we'll already be here for the next season. So just tune in to see, how things are for, the next season. And then lastly, my next episode, which would be my 20th episode, which is crazy. But my next episode would be my last episode of the season. So check out the next episode, which will be the last one. I will be doing like a recap of just the whole season. So I'm excited to show you guys just, everything that I've worked for this whole NBA season, really, for this podcast. So, but other than that, I thank you guys for tuning in again. Shout out to Boston Celtics. You guys are the winners of the season. So congrats to those that are Boston fans, those that are locals. Congrats to you guys. I know you guys are definitely about to party it up. I know this Friday they're about to have the parade, so it's going to be fun to see. But until next time, I'll see you guys on the next episode, which is the last one. So tune in. Until next time, man, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share it to family and friends. I appreciate all the love and support. But other than that, I'm going to see y'all the next one. Yes, sir.